When I was 18, my grandmother left me a little bit of money for my education, and I went into a store in Detroit and bought this enlarger. And I had no idea what to do with it. I loved pictures, but I didn't know anything about photography. I thought my father was going to kill me. But I bought it, and I'm still using it to this day. Yes, and I'm a lot older than 18. So I'm Janet Woodcock, and I'm a photographer. I live here in Vineyard Haven. And I'm what's called a traditional photographer. I still work with film in the darkroom. I only work in black and white. I'm working exactly the way I was trained in school, which was a long time ago. And I still love working that way, so that's what I do. I tend not to come up with an idea and then pursue it. Usually what happens to me is I'm going about my life, going about my business, and something will happen that will make me realize, oh, that's really interesting. I wonder. And that's how every series I've worked on has started. The Vineyard series was because I had adopted a dog and I had to go to this farm to pick him up. And the woman had goats, and she said, oh, you should come in and meet my goats. And the minute I got in there, I thought, I have to come back with my camera. And that was the start of a whole 7-year project on photographing farm animals. And the nest series started because it was wintertime and a branch fell out of the tree with a nest attached to it. And I was like, well, you look at that. It's still intact. I mean, and that's what takes me to where I want to go photographically, as opposed to coming up with an idea and trying to figure out how to do it. So, this is the one I've been using for the chickens. This is it's a Mamiya, it's a Hasselblad, and it's a film camera. I use only medium format film, so it's a medium format film camera. But so there's only 12 images per roll of film. So it means that I'm very slow. It means that I spend more time looking and waiting and sort of understanding what's going on in front of me, and only when it all comes together do I actually make a negative. And it's a heavy camera. It's got some heft to it, but I like it. I like it for that. It has, it sort of feels like I'm very connected to it. So. And the other one I have is a Mamiya 6 rangefinder, which is much smaller and also takes medium format film. But for the chickens, I like this one because the viewfinder's a little bit brighter. They don't like me to move around that much, so I kind of stay in one spot and just kind of, let them do their dance around me, and then it works best that way. So, yeah. What I love about working in a more traditional way is that it's a very slow way of working, and I think the slowness makes me feel more intimate with what I'm trying to do. Makes me feel much more connected. So when I'm photographing the chickens, I'm in the coop, I'm in their chicken space, and I'm just sort of moving like the chickens are moving. I know it sounds crazy, but it isn't, because that's the only way that I know how to work, and that's the process that I use lends itself to that. And I've got really old-fashioned negative carriers that are really thick, so that because you can't even get these anymore, and then they slip in here, and so the negative goes. It's very cool. So, everything I use is very old. My cameras are old. Everything I use isn't made anymore. But this is my darkroom. This is the sink, and these are the big trays I use, and I set it up for, the prints have to go into the developer, and then into a stop bath, and then a fixer, and then I have to wash them, and then I tone them with all kinds of different toners that I mix myself. So.